Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, I just wanted to do like a beginner's tips video, like not a full guide, but just some nice tips for newer players, or if you're re-rolling and you're on a fresh account, to sort of maximize your progression along the way, and sort of progress faster than I am on this account. So let's get into it. And before we get into it, I am doing a daily coverage of this free-to-play account on another channel. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave it linked in the description. I'm just doing every day, even if I make no progression, just to give an update on every day of the account where I'm at. Sometimes I'll miss Sundays, but that's pretty much it. But the first one that I want to go into is your resources in the bag. Now, as you can see, I don't have any experience chests in here. Now, with these resources, I don't like to use them unless I'm stuck. But if you're stuck, especially early game, and you've got some of these experience ones, the experience ones are huge early game. You get such a boost to your character's levels, and it's really efficient to use them early because you're going to get so much progression out of them. Someone who doesn't use them will be levels and levels behind someone who does. So don't just use them as soon as you get them. Once you get stuck, that's when you use them. You use enough to break through a wall, and then you keep going. Same with dust. Once you need to, limit break something, then you use your dust, and then you keep going. Gold, just hold on to gold unless you actually really need it, which you hopefully shouldn't be desperate for gold too early on. Next up is a fairly obvious one, but friends. Definitely get your friends list full. Just go to the friend settings, add friends, or just go to chat. Just do the add. There's an emote there that's add me. I don't want to go into chat because whoever knows what's going on in there. But you can just get a bunch of friends, fill up your list, because you want to get mercenaries. Now, short-term mercenaries come, I think, around chapter 7 or 8. Don't quote me. But once you do unlock mercenaries, it might even be earlier. You can mercenary a hero from anyone that you're friends with, and once they lend it to you, you can use it as free to play. You can use it one time per week in campaign, one time per week in tower. But the great thing about mercenaries is you can use them limitless in Labyrinth and Peaks of Time and Voyage of Wonders once you do unlock it. So Peaks of Time is huge. So if we jump into the Peaks of Time here, this is another thing that you really want to get on top of. As you can see, I've got one that I haven't done yet. It's just a really tedious one. I haven't brought myself to do it. But you really want to do these as you unlock them. And the easiest way to do it is going to be to use a mercenary. Now, there's two optimal mercenaries for these things that I find. And that's going to be either Lucretia or picking up an irons from a friend. Just makes those things completely face roll. And you can just basically walk through and collect the rewards as long as you know which path to take. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Same with Labyrinth. Irons is probably better in Labyrinth. You can just AoE nuke the whole enemy team, and having a mercenary irons and Lucretia are really optimal. And then on that mercenary front for bosses, pick up a Saurus with 30 signature item if you have a friend with one, because it's just going to make you get better scores in your guild hunting, which is going to get you more coins, and just more goodies overall. So mercenary is very important early on in the game for one, breaking through walls in campaign and tower, and then two, all the other content that you can just breeze through with mercenaries because it makes it easy. After that is the Oak Inn. Now, when you unlock the Oak Inn, it'll always be there, but it'll have a lock symbol. Once it unlocks, I can't remember exactly what chapter, like 6 or something. You'll never get a red dot on it, but always go into it, because when you go into it, you'll see you can visit a friend. Now, when you go visit friends, don't immediately go to the first friend you see unless they have a red chest. So you can see how this guy's got red chests. You can collect 3 red chests per day from different friends. So we're going to go ahead and collect that first one. And as you can see, 100 diamonds. And you can get 3 red chests per day. It's not always diamonds. Sometimes it's dust, sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's blue stones. But everything you get from these is very, very helpful, especially for an early game account. So it does lag a bit going between. But here we go. The next guy, let's collect this one, see what we get. See, like it's a good chunk of gold as well. Like that is a lot of gold early game. So if you're having gold issues as well, like definitely get in there, because that is just a hell of a lot of gold for an early game count. So let's go into the next one, get our third one, and that is as many as you can get. And then we go 100 dust. 100 dust isn't the greatest, but hey, we'll take it. But the reason you also want to be doing that is once you get an ascended hero and place them into the Oak Inn, you're going to be able to like start summoning furniture. And some of the quests to get extra Poe coins to summon furniture require you to receive gifts from friends. And you can start ramping up those gifts, and you can get like an extra, 310 pulls of furniture just by doing this in your early progression when you haven't actually fully unlocked the Oak Inn and placed your own heroes. But just remember, it won't have a red dot there to remind you. So you just got to remember yourself every day to jump in there and go ahead and do it. Otherwise you will miss out. The next thing, and this also ties into the friends thing, is in the library and its unions. Obviously Elder Tree, when you get it, just unlock it, but the unions, make sure any characters that you are using, you have the unions done. You can use your friends units in these unions, especially a lot of people, we'll talk about carries in a second, but Isolde and Daemon, 2 big carries, fill out those ones. It's going to be really nice. Unfortunately for the Daemon one, it does have a Niru, so if one of your friends don't have him, like mine don't, I'm just going to basically get him as my first legendary plus fodder, because when you do get one of these fodder or any unit to legendary plus and they're yours and you put them in here, they stay there permanently even if you feed them away. So he's going to be my first legendary plus here. That way I can lock him in there, and then I can feed him to my Daemon to make my Daemon mythic. So that is my plan there. Like I said, it's nice if one of your friends can shift it around for you, and I could probably do it with my alt account, but I just haven't got around to it. So that is something you definitely want to keep on top of, unions, because you do get some pretty nice bonuses on some of the characters. And like I said, the 2 main early game characters of Isolde and Daemon are in there. And that brings us over to that. Basically, wishlist, you can do whatever you want, but 2 units that I would definitely put on your wishlist are that Daemon and Isolde. Just getting them along with Odin and Silas, like, either of these 2 plus Odin and Silas is just a really solid early game core, and you can progress really fast with those guys. So that would be my main recommendation there. I'm not going to go deep into all this. I update a video every week with all the new codes, but I also do wishlist recommendations on that. But Daemon and Isolde, probably the 2 best early game carries, plus those 2. For the early chapters, like chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, you can use your free Wukong. He's really good as well. For gear, I try not to upgrade gear. Like, I try and avoid it as much as possible. If you do upgrade it, only upgrade to 3 stars. It gets too expensive and it's not really worth it past 3 stars. The value just loses out. So 3 stars, if you are upgrading gear, is the max I would go to. I only really ever upgrade gear on my main character. And as you can see, if I go through all my other characters, there's nothing upgraded except for that. Now, it might get you a little bit further, but your main carry and your secondary tank are pretty much the only 2 that are really desperate for the stats. So really, I'd avoid it completely. I've been stuck on a stage for 3 days now, which absolutely sucks. So that's why I upgraded some gear to test that out, but it didn't work. But try not to upgrade too much gear because it does become very gold expensive. And the final tip I wanted to go with is this one here. It's one that we always talk about. Don't make a bunch of legendary heroes unless you can make them legendary plus. For me, Rowan is one that I'm always going to build. So, I do have 1 extra copy of him here. So once I get 1 more copy, I can get him legendary plus. But you don't want to end up having a bunch of legendary heroes. You're better off focusing on a couple of heroes and getting them to mythic than getting a bunch to legendary. Because if you get a bunch of heroes to legendary, it means you're using that elite plus fodder to get them all to legendary, when in effect you could have had the better hero, the one that you're really focusing on, to mythic, which would actually benefit your team more. So the ones you don't worry about making legendary are the legendary tier heroes, which is these guys here, because you can get them to legendary plus and then feed them to get other guys to mythic. So that's why it's very easy to get Golos to legendary plus. I just leveled him up and got him there because he'll be food for someone later on. But don't have a bunch of ascended tier heroes at legendary because it will really cripple you later on. For instance, I'm not going to go ahead, and if we go over here to Graveborn, you can see I've got 2 fodder elite plus units here. I could go ahead and make my Silas or my Odin elite plus right now, legendary if I wanted to right now. But I'm not going to do that because it'll cripple me later on when I could have a mythic Daemon. So if I get 1 more copy of Daemon, I can get him to legendary plus, then I can use those 2 plus get 2 more fodder, and I could have him at mythic, which is going to benefit me way more than having a legendary plus Daemon and a legendary Silas. So that is the last one. Just a few little tips that I've picked up on this account along the way. Like I said, doing daily progression updates on this account. If you want to get to it, link in the description. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.